programs like this one at Kaiser. But here's a question for you. What do we do about the thousands of babies who are born drug exposed, unwanted by their mothers, and who ultimately fall victim to a system that is not prepared to take care of them? Well, you're about to meet an incredible family, people who are doing their part to save these babies one at a time. Smitty and Barbara Harris have had a new addition to their family each year for the past 4 years.
We became foster parents in '89, and Destiny was the first child that we got. We got her when she was 8 months old, and then the following December, the mother had Isaiah, so we got him because we were trying to keep them together. And then the following year, she had Taylor, so we decided to get her so we could keep the three of them together. And then this year, she had Brandon, so we decided once again that we should get him because we're trying to keep them together. They're crack babies. They're born drug addicted, so they're taken away from the mother at birth.
The Harrises already had 2 sons when they became Destiny's foster parents.
She was 8 months old. And when we picked her up in Los Angeles, her foster mom told us that every night between 6 and 9, she went through withdrawals. So my sons and I we were driving back from LA, and it was getting close to 6 o'clock, and we were watching the clock because we expected her to turn into this. We didn't know it. We thought at 6 o'clock she was going to start screaming and yelling because the lady said every night at 6, she just threw her in the room and left her in there till 9, and she screamed, and it's her withdrawals. She never did it. So obviously this lady was throwing her in a room every night, and she was probably screaming just because she wanted somebody to come and get her, but that never happened with us.
There were, however, some tough nights for this family.
The other 3, we had to pace the floor a lot. This one, a lot, for months. He cried all the time, so we would take shifts, and it was just really bad. And yeah, they go through withdrawals. They shake, they tremble, and then it seems to be gone. So far, I don't see any other effects, but who knows what the future holds.
Barbara and Smitty have adopted Destiny, now 4, her brother Isaiah, 3, and little 2-year-old Taylor. Now 8-month-old baby brother Brandon is part of the family, and they are waiting until the court frees him for adoption. So the question on everyone's mind is, when will it stop? If the birth mother has more babies, will they too become part of the Harris family?
I can tell you no, that I wouldn't adopt another one next year, and I've said that for the last 3 years. But what happens is when they're born and they call us and tell us about them, it's really hard for me to be, I guess a lot of people would say, well, it's not my problem, but it's family. It really breaks my heart when I hear people who go overseas to adopt and they say it's because of the drugs. They don't want to deal with the drugs, and it's just, you know, I'm sure you're taking a chance because some of these babies could be affected seriously, but from what I've seen, I've had a lot of them come in and out of my home. I think if they get in the right home for the right reason, that they can overcome what's been done to them. I would encourage anybody to become a foster parent and take the chance. How busy look at the bird, Taylor. Tell him.
All of the Harris children are doing remarkably well. It's clear there's a lot of love in this family, but there's also a lot of determination to stop the growing problem of drug babies. The birth mother of these kids has had a total of 8 drug-addicted children, and Barbara Harris wants to see the law step in.
I want to see Norplant used in women like the natural mother of the children that I have, who's had 8 children, and how many more. I mean, there are some women who have had 15 and 24 children that I know of, and they haven't had, you know, there's no repercussions to them.
To fight for this cause, Barbara has formed a non-profit organization called CRACK, Children Requiring a Caring Community. She wants legislation to mandate criminal penalties to women who have drug-addicted babies. The penalties could be jail time or preferably having Norplant, a temporary contraceptive that lasts for 5 years. She also wants mandatory inpatient drug rehabilitation. Attorney Bruce Shasky has volunteered to help Barbara get her organization off the ground.
By you, I mean when a woman gives birth to a crack-addicted child or a fetal alcohol syndrome baby, we have a situation here where we know that woman has a problem. And we cannot correct the birth of that baby. We can, however, say we can prevent this problem in the future.
It's an idea that does not sit well with everyone.
The ACLU's position is that the right to control your reproductive system is a fundamental right. And we're opposed to any suggestion that the state should be able to coerce or force someone into sterilization.
Yes, it could be an invasion of the mother's body. It's a temporary invasion. Where do responsibilities begin and certain types of rights end?
Whether the sterilization is temporary, so-called temporary, or permanent through a surgical procedure, I don't believe changes the equation. To allow the state to order a woman to be sterilized for any period of time is infringing upon her right to control her reproductive system.
As far as I'm concerned, they have no rights. I'm looking out for the rights of the children, and when a woman's given birth to 8 drug-addicted babies, she has no rights. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody has a right to abuse children, and this is child abuse. She's abused 8 children, and how many more is she going to abuse? And as far as I'm concerned, along with rights come responsibilities, and she's acting totally irresponsible, so somebody needs to take charge of her life.
Everyone does, however, agree that something must be done about the suffering of these children, and law professor Robert Pugsley of Southwestern University sees this issue eventually going to the highest court in the land.
It's such a fundamental issue of reproductive rights versus the interest of the child, and a choice, again, between going to prison, which is a very unpalatable choice for all of us, versus a temporary period, albeit a long one, 5 years of birth control. It's revocable, but it does hold for 5 years. I foresee that going to the United States Supreme Court.